Just wanted to ask you, so what brought you into teaching at the end? Did you start out as an actress yourself and then realize, hey, I like teaching as well?
I did. I moved to LA. I started going on auditions, but then
Right.
all these actors were asking me to help them. And so I was faced, there was one pivotal day that I remember. I was just faced with all these actors calling me, like 10 actors.
Right.
I used to do like 10 coachings back to back. And then I had two auditions, one in Pasadena and the other one in Hollywood.
Right.
And I thought to myself, two auditions or helping 10 actors, which one? And I went, no, I'm just going to work with the actors. So I told my agent, who got upset with me, I'm not going to go. And I stayed home and
Right.
I worked with the actors. And from that on, I just kept,
That's amazing.
loving to pass down the information that I have.
Right. I mean, we don't have a lot of time today, but in general, I definitely wanted to ask you that question also for the audience at home, because a lot of people, as you say, have the desire to probably become an actor or actress. So what would you say is the key factor, the key thing that you have to have as an actor to hopefully become who you want to be?
Well, I mean, it's such a fun profession.
Yeah.
And a lot of people, the reason why a lot of people want to be actors is because there's so many people that are creative.
Right.
People have so much creativity in them and they want to find ways to express
That's
it.
right.
And to express it through acting looks like it could be fun, like a lot of fun. And in fact, it is.
Right.
So, you have to, the most important thing, I think, is to have an incredible passion for it.
Right.
And be willing to do what it takes
Right.
to make that dream happen.
Right.
And sometimes it's not going to be easy.
I know.
Sometimes you do it especially when you don't feel like doing it, and it's hard, and you've got to run the track, and you've got to sob at the same time, and you
Right.
just have to push yourself.
It is. I mean, I can also talk from my own experience. I mean, acting is like an up and down, as we all know, right?
Right.
So you have some good weeks, and sometimes you just ask yourself, why am I doing this? Why is it not working how I want it to work?
That's right.
But I feel like that's the key thing as well. You have to be mentally strong enough to understand and to overcome these situations as well, right? To stay positive in a way.
I love what you're saying. I think that, the journey is to find emotional health. If you can stay in this business
Right.
with all the turmoil and the people that say no to you,
Yeah.
and you can stay emotionally healthy
Right.
and go from one project to the next,
Right.
and create a great life for yourself. So then when they say, cut, or it's a wrap, or
Right.
go home, you get something fun to go to. You have a life. You have a great life.
Oh my God, thank you so much for saying that. And honestly, I also realized that myself when I moved to Los Angeles. I mean, I was so focused. I'm still focused on that career in a way, but I also realized if you don't work on your private life as well, you can get a little frustrated at some point because there's nothing where you can go back to, as you just said.
Well, I think it's really important. I remember I had a shrink in New York that said to me,
Right.
You may go to LA, you may be very successful, but you have to really watch for the slice of Swiss cheese inside of you. He said, all the holes inside
I
of
know.
you, and no amount of fame
Right.
will fill those holes. And at the time, I was like, can I curse now? What are you talking about? I
You
was
can,
like,
yeah.
he actually, maybe like, but he was right. I
Right.
think that, it's not, you have to pursue it because there's nothing else, frankly, that you can do. You have to act. You just have to do it. You have to be creative.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
It's funny that you mention all the things that I'm thinking about very often because I always ask myself, what would happen if you go back to where I'm from, to Germany, for example? How would I feel then? Even if I'm not having a good day right now, how would I feel stopping now and going back to my home country? And the answer is always like, I would feel even worse than right now. And that
Because
always
you don't
gets
want
me.
to quit. That's
Yeah,
why.
I'm not a quitter. I don't like that. And I think that's also the message to people out there. You have times where you have maybe kind of a down period, but you have to overcome and just think about the bigger goal, the bigger thing that you want to have,
That's
the bigger
right.
vision,
You
right?
have to have-
Get to do the show part.
And you know what I really love what you said. I mean, we talked a little bit before, but
Yeah.
what really stuck in my head was you said something like, "Hey, you know what? I love acting. Acting is my passion, but I also like to give interviews. I like to be out there. I like talking to people,
Yeah,
and
I
I
do.
love that you said that because I
Yeah.
feel like, and we talked about it. Actors want to be creative.
Yes.
Of course.
Yeah,
It's an
yeah.
art. We want to do that because we are passionate about it. But I think what you just said is so valuable. I think everyone needs to understand if you really want to make it also as an
Yeah.
actor, to continue your passion,
Yeah.
you have to also think about the business side.
You have to do
And
it.
that's what you do right now, for example, is
Yeah.
part of it.
Yeah, for sure.
So, and I think more actors should or need to understand that in a certain way, right? So,
I think definitely when you're starting out as well,
Yeah.
the broader understanding you can have of the business, that, like I said, the easier it's going to be for you to maneuver.
Right.
If you learn what agents want,
Yeah.
if you learn how to present yourself and how to put your showreel together,
Yeah.
how to write simple things like emails, cover
Yeah.
letters, the things that you need to say to agents to get their attention.
Oh, yeah.
You know, all those little things that I had to learn. Some
Yeah.
of it I learned myself, some of it I learned from friends.
Right.
But once you start to learn these things, leveling up
Yeah.
is easier. Obviously, you need to have a level of talent and then book the jobs.
Right.
But
For sure.
in terms of the gatekeepers of the industry, once you know how to converse with these people and what they want,
Right.
it makes it a lot easier to deliver it to them.
And you touched on starting out. Can you kind of just touch on a little bit your journey on how
Yeah.
you got to where you are today?
So I didn't train formally, so I didn't go to full-time drama school. I went to a theatre school in Ealing, which is in London, called Questers. I want to shout out all my Questers crew who's watching this. G59, baby,
Oh,
we
yeah.
here. Yeah,
we
so-
also see some pictures of you right here.
Oh
like on
yeah,
Pennyworth,
that's
like,
me and
nice,
my boy Ryan.
Right.
So I went to Quest as a theatre school for 2 years, and I remember at the first audition, you do 2 monologues, and my teacher David Emmett said, so what do you hope to do after this course? Because really that course was just a prep to be able to get into drama school.
Right.
So he said to me, what do you want to do after this course? And I said, well, I'm going to go on to be a professional actor. And he said, well, no one's ever been to this school and left and become a professional actor. And I said, well, I'm going to be the first.
Wow.
Hey.
Wow. I love that. That's a statement right here. That's
And
amazing.
I said that, and he was like, okay, okay.
Why not?
So
Yeah.
I definitely think I had I'll admit it. I was very confident, but I can see how
Yeah.
that energy could have come across a bit cocky.
Yeah.
But I was just so passionate
Yeah.
and determined about making it
Right.
that's what propelled me. So I finished Questers, and I got an agent. It wasn't a huge agent at the time. It was just a small boutique agency. And then I had to do all the groundwork. I had to do little things like commercials, short films,
Right.
corporate videos, voiceovers, just to, start earning money, start, getting myself out there in the business.
Right.
Did a few plays.
Right.
Those plays got reviewed. And then slowly but surely, I moved my way up in terms of the credits that I got and the agencies that were interested in me. But it wasn't really until, I'd say, last year that I really leveled up in terms of agency. So, there's gatekeeping in the industry. We all know that. You only get access to a certain type of job when you have a certain type of agent. And I leveled up in terms of my agent, and I had a similar conversation with him. He was the only agent of like 10 of the top in the UK, 10 or 15, that I emailed. He's the only one who replied to me. So he called me in. His name's Luke, and he sat me down. He's an ex-stockbroker, so he's really straight talking.
Yeah.
No crap, no messing. And he sat me down. He's like, "Good to meet you. Good to meet you." I was like, "Hey man, how you doing?" So he's like, "So, why haven't you done more TV and film?" So I was like, "Damn, son.
Okay, you don't know.
Let me live, man." Okay. So I was like, "Well, I'm only as good as the opportunities that are put in front of me." So he's like, "Okay." And I said, "Listen, if you give me an opportunity, I guarantee you I'll book those jobs. And if I don't, we can have this conversation in 3 months." And he was like, "Who's this dude?"
Love it.
That's
So I was,
awesome.
you just need to
So
you
cool.
need to back yourself,
Yeah.
right? So he said that. It's like, okay, I'll give you a shot. So the first 3 months I was with him, he got me 60 plus auditions.
Yes.
It was
Wow.
like insane. And like he was like, okay, if you think you're the dude, I will test you. So I was like, wow, okay, so the pressure's on me now. I really need to book something. So I was penciled for a few things, commercials, and a feature film. Didn't get it, but then I booked one TV show called Casualty, which is kind of like the British ER type thing on the BBC. And then I did a show called Catastrophe, which is on Amazon over here, but it's on Channel 4 in the UK. And then 2 months after that, I booked Pennyworth. So in the space of like 6 months,
That's
my
awesome.
career just completely turned around thanks to that.
You know, you got it. Win.
But that's amazing, and I feel like it doesn't has anything to do with arrogance or something, because some people always think, hey, why does he speak so highly about himself? I was like, no, that's just confident, right? I mean, especially when you're in front of an agency or an agent, you have to show them what you're capable of and just doing what you did.
They have to know that you can. Not only you've got the talent, but you can handle the pressure that is going to be put on you as a performer. You're going to have to go in rooms in front of directors, casting directors, producers, really powerful people who want to know if you can deliver.
For sure.
And their attitude, an agent's attitude is going to be, if you crumble in front of me,
right.
what are you going to do when I put you in front of the head of Sony? Or, you know, you're going up for a Netflix series regular and you crumble in front of. So it's better you get that discipline in early so that you're well desensitized by the time you actually come to those opportunities.
I mean, I just wanted to talk about a topic because we also want to talk about Pennyworth and what's coming next, right? It's also very interesting and exciting, but I think we have a lot of people out there watching us right now and also might be interested in, hey, I also want to become an actor or actress at some point. So, and we also mentioned already, acting is like an up and down, or can be like an up and down, right?
Sure.
And I just wanted to ask, from your experience, what would you recommend or suggest to people if they want to start out as an actor or actress from a mindset perspective?
Okay.
What do you have to be ready for? And how do you handle that?
How do you handle it? I think as an actor, if you really understand the why, so why you want to be an actor,
Right.
I think that really crystallizes the what and the how. Right. So if you're like, I want to be an actor because I want to tell stories, or I want to be an actor because being creative on the stage or whatever is a real drive for me. Once you've crystallized the why and you can sort of get that engine power, that engine that's going to propel you through the industry, then you're really ready to go. If your why isn't very strong, you're going to find all the other hurdles that come to you difficult. So really understand why you want to do it. And if that reason is strong enough and powerful enough, then take classes, immerse yourself in your craft. You don't have to be like supremely knowledgeable on it. It helps, read books, go to class, study, watch as many talented people do it as you can.
Yeah, for sure.
I think that for me personally, I'm a very visual learner. Like taking notes on acting would never really work for me. But some of the teachers like, write down these notes. And
I know exactly what you mean.
It would never work for me. If you get me to go up and do it, I'll get it like that.
For sure.
If I see somebody else do something and I'm like, okay, that thing, I learn it so quickly. And I think that for me has probably shaved years off of a learning curve for me, just watching talented actors.
So that means this thought.
Episode, and obviously the tattoos, because I'm into tattoos too.
And this time, ladies and gentlemen, it's me too. Benjamin Schnau is in the house as well. Oh yeah, and my favorite ice cream flavor is stracciatella.
I don't know that.
Americans, Canadians look at me, what are you talking about? Yeah, it's an Italian flavor in a way, which is very popular
It's like
in
a
Europe.
gelato.
Yeah, it is more gelato, but we call it stracciatella. That's how they always say
Yeah,
it.
or if you're American and you go to Europe,
Right.
I call it stracciatelli. I want some stracciatelli.
Yeah, that has swag. I like that.
No, but they must have it here in
love
some
it.
places,
They do.
right?
They
Yeah.
do. I mean, maybe stracciatella. I mean, maybe you call it stracciatella or something like that. the
Only
American
fancy
way.
places been.
Exactly. But let's start, guys. We have a lot to talk about, right? And also, we're going to see some specific ice cream. I don't want to spoil it yet for you guys, but Kay brought something today, which is very interesting. I've never seen that before, but we're going to come to that later on. First of all, I want to talk about the ice cream episode, obviously. Just your first thought when you saw the episode overall. What did you think?
Well, I thought, how can we, it said 5,000 pounds of ice cream we consume a year, which is 5,000 swimming pools can be filled with how much we consume a year.
That's
so
right.
I was blown away. That's crazy.
I didn't know that I was eating so much ice cream. I was like, I should lower it. I would be like, 5,000 Olympic swimming pool size.
Worldwide. I thought that was the States for a second, but yeah, that's worldwide.
But it's still a lot. Think about that.
Yeah.
I know, maybe have an ice cream every second week, maybe, right? I don't know. How often do you guys have ice cream? I mean, think about that.
It depends on the time of year. I feel like in the summer, I probably have ice cream a couple of times a week.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
I mean, we're in California, right? So we don't really have a lot of seasons, right? I can say that, right?
Yeah.
So we can pretty much have ice cream every day, right?
That's true. Now a little bit less, but if it's summer, I eat ice cream.
Yeah, I do. I do have a lot more in the summertime, that's for sure.
And if you're going through a breakup, you have probably 5 pools full of it. I'm kidding. In the summer, I'm kind of lactose intolerant, not like completely, so I have to watch it with cream. But I consume a lot and like soy-based ice cream.
Nice. I mean,
in the summer, or
interesting.
going through a breakup.
Wow. I mean, I'm
Traumatic
lonely for a
event.
very long time, so I don't know how it feels to have a relationship or break up. But anyway.
Okay, you'll get there.
I get there. Let's, you have to educate me. But we also want to talk about, I definitely want to point that out first of all, because I was very surprised and fascinated about Ben and Jerry. I wanted to talk about them in the first place because I was like, that's how they look like? I mean, I don't know. What did you guys think when you saw them? I mean, they're not old, but they're older guys now, older men. And I was like, wow, they just came up with the Ben and Jerry idea. That was fascinating to see.
I thought it would have been kind of a made-up duo. Like,
Right.
I thought it was just one guy behind it. You never know, really, with this, like, branding.
Exactly.
So I was surprised to actually see them in the flesh.
Right.
Real life. And very surprised that Ben can't smell.
That was mind-blowing to me. I mean,
That's
guys,
so
come
crazy.
on. But that made the whole idea work in a way. That was
Right.
so interesting. I mean, also the audience at home, if you've seen it, obviously, interesting to me. The only way how they could find out how Ben really likes it is to put even more flavor into it, which kind
Right.
of created the whole concept of Ben and
Right.
Jerry's at the end.
And
Yeah.
they're probably the top ice cream brand in the States. For sure.
mean-
and they have it in Europe,
Oh, we
right?
do.
I have never checked if they have.
We do have it. It's not as big as in the States for sure, but we have it in Germany. I saw it around for sure. But it was just interesting because they just come across like these normal dudes from next door, right? Like in their
Yeah.
maybe 60s, 70s now. Sitting with Jeff at a table, and then he just comes up with the ice cream. Let me just sit on that for a second. And I was like,
know.
What
what in
is
the world?
he doing? I wouldn't have ate it.
And Jeff is looking at him like, what are you doing? And he was so serious about it, right?
Yeah.
I just need to warm it up a
Warm it
little
up
bit.
a
And that's
little.
the warmest place at our body.
Oh yeah, they weren't
was
even
like-
laughing when they said that.
No,
they
they
were
were
like,
so-
"This is casual. We do that all the time."
He put it in his arm.
But it's for me, it's so fascinating to watch these two guys knowing that they created one of the biggest like empires of ice cream. If you think about that, they're just these two random guys in a way, just sitting with each other, talking about, just put it under my, I'm just sitting on it. I was like, wow, but it still works. So that always shows me if I see people like that. No offense, obviously, they're
Yeah.
great, but anything is possible. Hello, sir. How's it going? Nice to see you, Benjamin. How's it going?
Benjamin, Rich Valenstein, nice to see you.
Thank you so much for being here tonight. I mean, we talked a little bit about already what brought you out here, but if you could share your story to the audience, what brought you out here and what is your connection to the American Heart Association?
Yeah, I'd be happy to. So my name is Rich Valenstein. I'm Vice President of Finance for Toyota, but I've been involved with American Heart for about 15 years. I mean, my story goes back to kind of while I lost my father to heart disease. I just got introduced to the American Heart Association. What a fantastic group of people, professionals, set these really real goals to reduce heart disease and stroke, and just really glad to be a part of contributing to that. Yeah.
So how many times have you been here already?
So, to the Heart Ball?
Yeah.
I've been to the LA Heart Ball since we started it again 4 or 5 years ago. I've been on the
Right.
Heart Committee every time, and I chaired it 2 years ago,
right.
actually.
That's amazing, but we also talk about tips and suggestions to our audience tonight. So what do you recommend in your, like from your personal life? What kind of food do you eat? What kind of exercises do you do to stay healthy, basically?
Yeah, I think I'm blessed that I've got a couple kids that are into sports, and my daughter who plays tennis is super into nutrition. So it's just doing a little bit more exercise, whatever you're comfortable with, and just eating a little bit better, just pushing back earlier, not so much fats, not so much, and just taking care a little bit, and it makes a huge difference. And then stop smoking. I got both my parents to stop smoking.
Did you smoke?
I never smoked, but
I actually did. I did smoke,
And you
I
stopped?
stopped it.
Good.
Because there was this one moment where you realize, oh my God, I'm just 23, 24,
Right, that's right.
and I feel like a very old man already. I can't really even walk anymore.
Stop smoking, eat better, exercise more, live a lot longer.
Right.
Live a lot longer.
Thank you so much for being here tonight and
Yeah, you
supporting
bet,
that event. I really
you bet,
appreciate it.
you
We
bet.
should talk even more at the ball. to
Let's
be
do
honest.
that.
For
Let's
sure.
do that.
Thank you so
Okay,
much.
take
See you
care.
later.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Bye bye.
I'm Benjamin. Nice to meet you. How's it
Corey,
going?
man.
Good? Corey?
Yes.
Thank you so much.
yeah,
Corey,
no problem.
thank you so much for being here tonight. I mean, first of all, I wanted to ask you, what brought you out here?
This American Heart Association and heart disease and birth defects of the heart has affected me personally with my son, my firstborn. So that's part of the reason why I'm here, because it's something that I hold, and something that's pretty close to me, that I hold very dear to me.
So that means you're kind of supporting your son right now.
Yes, I'm definitely supporting my son, and also just coming out here and supporting others. Families that are a little less fortunate, and thankful for American Heart Association. They've been able to help and extend their help and resources to others.
Well, thank you so much for sharing your personal story, because we have a lot of people here tonight sharing about their families, because it's also it could be in the family as well.
Right.
So is that something that you just found out recently?
Oh no, we found out when he was first born.
Right.
When he was first born, he had some birth defects.
Right.
So we was lucky enough, we was fortunate, went ahead and got the procedure done at an early state.
Right.
And he's lucky now, and now he's a kid that's full of energy, that runs around, and he's very exciting. Yeah.
I mean, you can be so proud of him. That's amazing.
Oh yeah.
I mean, what do you guys basically do? Because a lot of people also sharing some tips and suggestions tonight about how they eat, what kind of exercises they do. I mean, what do you do with your son right now, for example? How do you live life?
I just let him be. I let him be a kid right now, to be honest. He's full of joy. If he was here, he'll have everyone out here dying laughing, because he's just he's full of that much joy and laughter. So he's a good kid.
You should bring him next time for sure.
Oh yeah. Yeah. If the timing works out, I'll definitely bring him.
Thank you so much, Cody, for being here tonight.
Yeah,
appreciate it. We should talk later more for sure. That would be great. Thank you.
That's no problem at all.
Cody, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you.